Hello everybody, how are you doing? Out in the shop, I just got done cutting the grass. I tell you what, darn FedEx. Monday night I ordered the parts for my lawnmower. I ordered a new axle, a new nut for the end of the axle, and a new rear tire. The company I ordered them from, eparts.com I think it was. Tuesday morning, probably 9:30, 10 o'clock, I get an email, hey, your package is packed up and ready to go. Here's your tracking number. So I'm tracking it, and it's supposed to come in Thursday, okay? Thursday it didn't show up. Friday I go in to check the tracking, and I thought, well, maybe it's just a day late, maybe it's out for delivery. It's now not scheduled to deliver until the 18th, next Friday. So I had to scramble. I took a piece of 1/2-inch pipe, and I slid it onto the axle because the inside of the tire, all of the guts are just wore out and gone. And I slid the tire over that. It was a little loose, but not bad. Then I found an old bearing that I had that fit inside the tire, and I put a washer against it, so I was pressing between the bearing and the pipe, put a lock nut on that, and then the nut, and I went out and cut the yard, and I'll be darned, it worked. I cut the whole yard, and I put a little black mark with a marker on the nut, so as I'm walking down the yard, I can watch, and I could see, because it was the left side, so you crank it back towards you to tighten it, and the wheel would rub and turn the nut forward and loosen it, and the tire would fall off because it was so loose. I watched the whole thing, and it never moved. The nut never moved, so it worked. So I could have saved myself 60 bucks, but I'm of the opinion that it's probably going to go ahead and bite the dust anyway. So when the parts get here, I'm just going to put them out in the shed. I'm going to continue to use it until it loosens up or I have an issue with it, and then I'll put the new parts on because I'm replacing the axle and everything, so I'm not worried about doing any damage to it. What I've been working on since is my sled. Let me show you this. I've got the sled set up. I've got the two halves bolted together, and I'm at the point where I need to run it through the blade and cut off the excess piece. Over here on my saw, I've got an old blade in now. I had my Amana blade in because I wanted to do it with one of my nicer blade that I use for my good cuts, and this is just a cheapy, probably $10, $12 blade. But I've got it back in because I keep measuring. I've got squares, and I'm measuring with these squares, and what I'm finding is my blade is tilted just a little bit, and when you crank the knob, I can't get it to go any farther over. So I got onto the internet and found the instruction manual, and they said to remove the back of the saw, and so this is where I'm at right now. I thought I would touch base with you guys. They said to remove the back of the saw, and there's some adjustment nuts up there that I'm going to work on. Haven't got to them yet. I think I'm going to finish cleaning all this out first so I don't have to deal with that. But that's where I'm at. I'm going to work on this, and I'm not going to do anything else until I get this blade perfectly 90. I always thought it was 90, but I always was a little concerned because my cuts were a tiny bit off. And wanting to be so precise with this and taking my time with it, I've learned that it's not. So we're going to make that correct before we go on. And that's kind of where I'm at. So I will keep you guys posted on my progress. This is really kind of neat. We've got this little cam gear here, and you can kind of see it. And there's all these little notches in there. See that little pin? And what you do is you pull this out and you adjust it forward or backward, and that lets you turn the wheel either to go more toward 90 or less toward 90, depending on if you're overshooting or undershooting 90. So I've got to adjust it there. Let me crank it all the way back till it locks. Whoops. There we go. All right, and then we come up top, and if you look down the blade, or down the, see that, how you cannot see any light through it, just by pressing against the blade? I now have my blade at a perfect 90 when I crank it all the way to stop position. So I'm really happy with that. It took a while to get there. Let me tell you, I blew a ton of dust out here. I thought at first it might be dust clumped up in the gears, in the mechanism, and the dust was packed in there and not letting it go all the way. And once I got it cleaned out, it was obvious that it wasn't. So I went on the internet, popped in, I Googled the part number of the saw, and typed in the word blade adjustment afterwards, and an article came up that was the manual that came with the saw. It had all the assembly, how to put the whole thing together, which is great. I'm going to basically copy that PDF and print it out because I don't have that documentation. And in there it talked about blade alignment, if it's more or less than 90, and that's easy to tell with a square, how to adjust it. So now all I've got left to do is there are 2 little set screws, little Allen screws in that little cog. I'm going to crank those back down nice and tight, and my sled is now at a perfect 90 to the table. So once I get that cranked down, get the saw put back together, clean all this junk up, then I'm going to bring my my sled back over and go ahead and get the waist side of it cut off. Hey guys, winding it down for the night. It's 5 after 10. I'm exhausted, but I've had a project that I've been working on. It's for a gift, and I've put a lot of time in on it tonight, made incredible progress. I couldn't be happier about that, and I'll reveal it shortly, but I need to get it finished, and I need to get it given, and I'm not doing a video on it. It's just, I don't have the time. I'm really pressed for time, so, but I will show it to you guys when I get it finished, if I get it finished. It depends on how it goes. It has its moments where it's like it's not going to work, and then all of a sudden you figure something out. It's like, okay, this might work, and then it's not going to work. Right now it's at a point where I think it might work. All right, that's it for me. Talk to you later. Bye.